Hello. Welcome to another episode of MXDTV. Oh, there you are. There's everybody. I don't know if I said that prematurely, but welcome to episode 3 of MXDTV. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by again. I'm your host, Marc Delgado. My initials are MXD. That's how you find me on the airwaves. Marc X Delgado. That's my, what's that called? My website is marcxdelgado.com. Thanks for tuning in. Here's a little number I've been playing for a little while now. Melanie says it looks great. She's referring to last week, which didn't look great. So we had a little trouble last week. So hopefully this week it'll go a little smoother for us. Thanks, Melanie. Okay, she's gonna go to sleep, I think, but thanks for checking in. Well, I am a moonshiner for 17 long years, and I spent all my money on whiskey and beer. Well, I go to some hollow and set up my still with whiskey doesn't kill me. Lord, I don't know what will. Well, I go to some barroom to drink with my friends, where the women, they can't follow me to see what I spend. Well, God bless them, pretty women. How I wish they was mine. Breath as sweet as the dew on the vine. Let me eat when I'm hungry. Let me drink when I'm dry. $2 when I'm hard up. And religion when I die. Well, the whole world is bottled, and life, it is but a dram. When the bottle, it gets empty, Lord, it sure ain't worth a damn. That's an old folk song called Moonshiner. Kind of sums it up for me. It's a couple of great versions of Bob Dylan, of course, does a really nice version, and then Jay Farrar does a really great version too. I've already said the word great 5 times. I discussed it with Melanie today. And I said I wouldn't say great a lot, but I've already used it 5 or 6 times. So we'll try to avoid the word great from here on out. But that is a great song called Moonshiner. And you can find many, many versions of that all over the place. And I've been playing that for a long time. Here's another one you've heard a lot before, and I'm going to do it too. Oh, we've got some friends here. Oh, I know Soup likes that one. Drips, drab days, and drams. Well done. Right. And Andrew George is with us. Hello. Rick's with us. Hey, great. Thanks for joining, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up. Making me feel like there's somebody out there that really makes a big difference. Thanks. Good to see you guys. Here's another one you've heard before. I'm going to play it again. These songs, I believe, are haunted. So I'm going to play a couple of them. This one you've heard. Crimson flames tied through my ears, rolling high in mighty traps, pounced with fire on flaming roads, using ideas as my maps. We'll meet on edges soon, said I, proud 'neath heated brow. Oh, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. Half-racked prejudice leaped forth, down all hate I screamed, lies that life's in black and white. From my skull I dreamed romantic flanks of musketeers, foundation deeps somehow. Oh, but I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. In a soldier's stance I aim my hand at the mongrel dogs who teach, fearing not that I'd become my own enemy the instant that I preach. My path was led by confusion boats. It was a mutiny from stern to bow. Oh, but I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. As my guard stood hard when abstract threats, too noble to neglect, deceived me into thinking I had something to protect. And good and bad find these terms quite clear, no doubt, somehow. Oh, but I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. All right. Yeah. I've been playing that song for a long time too. Like that, in that way. I don't know when I started doing that. I'm going to take this thing off. Let's see. I don't know when I started playing that song like that, but or how I even got there. But I think that song's haunted too. I mean, it was written when he was quite young, Bob Dylan, and man, it just the more I hear the words to that song, the more I play it, the truer it rings to me. It's great, great tune. Oh, there's the word great again. Let's see, we've got some new folks joining us here. Great, great, great sound. Right, thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, thank you. Kurt's here with us, Kurt Henry. Van Ronk did. Van Ronk's my man, Kurt. I love him maybe more than anybody. He's one of the best. Oh, that was Melanie's idea, Kurt. She told me to back the camera up so you could see the guitar. Thank you very much. Kurt Henry, the amazing Kurt Henry, songwriter, musician here in Woodstock. Check him out on Sundays, 9 Mile Swamp. Is that right, Kurt? 7 p.m.? Is that right? He'll let me know, I'm sure. But he has a live stream he's been doing. That's he and Cheryl have been doing, and you should check it out because he's an amazing musician. One of the first guys I ever played with here in town, I believe. So thank you all for tuning in. In MXDTV fashion, I'm gonna slow things down to a crawl. And I'm going to read some poems. I'm going to read a poem right now from one of the best teachers I ever had. This is a poem written by a guy named Marty Williams. Marty Williams, I'm going to touch my nose. Marty Williams was my high school English teacher. I had him. He was my 10th grade English teacher at Fresno High in Fresno, California. And if it wasn't for Marty, I don't know what I would have done back then. But he goes by M.L. Williams. This is his newest book of poetry. You can get it at bookshop.org. I highly recommend it. It's brilliant. And, Marty comes from a long line of oh, there's the word great. A long line of Fresno poets. And I used to drink a lot in high school. I I used to drink every day in high school, and I didn't realize that I was already an alcoholic by the time I was 16 years old. But I didn't really go to class. I just drank a lot, and but I went to Marty's class every day because he wouldn't tell on me. He would let me show up drunk to his class, and furthermore, Marty would have us do an exercise at the beginning of class where we would have to write for 10 minutes, free write in a journal we kept. And I was totally insane then, and I would write in this journal, and just crazy stream of consciousness stuff. And this is when I knew I loved Marty. But he came up to me once after class with my journal, and I thought he was going to be angry with me. But what he said to me was, he looked at me and he handed me my journal, and he said, "Have you ever read?" Or no, he said, "You need to read Naked Lunch." So that was we were bonded from then on. Anyway, Marty wrote this brilliant new book of poems, and I'm going to read one from his book called Looking for Cafe Midi, Fresno, 1983. Trying to find the old cafe, I'd found instead a Vietnamese restaurant. The hoisin grilled pork was good and cheap, but I was after cappuccino, chasing a memory of when my cousin, Jim, nurturing my interest in chess, would lend me books on the game along with garishly covered ace double sci-fi titles to read. He took me just once to the cafe to hang out, play, watch the old guys feed their camels to the smoky air and snap each piece to threaten from its square. No talk. They'd slap the chess clock after every move. They seemed angry, and the hippies, my father would have called them, mad, too, talking politics in, I'm guessing, 1971. Vietnam and Nixon. Sharp coffee smells breaking through the smoke and clatter. The cool marble table holding up the board and our cups. It all baffled me then, but I craved it when I moved back. Wanted a place to be strange and sip coffee and argue, listen, or just watch, but it was gone. Along with the ghosts I sought, talk of poets and dreamers who'd passed through and left something in the air, some phrase to catch, some kind of anarchy out of the narrowing grid I'd found myself confined in then. Instead, bean thread and spring rolls, rice, first taste of pho and fish sauce, and now I miss that too. Bravo, Marty. I've been really enjoying his book, which further convinces me that if you've spent time in a creative writing class in Fresno, you can't walk away unscathed. And it's just that place and all the great writers there. Anyway, got some new friends online. My best pal, Rick Barth. Hey, Marc Delgado. Rick Barth, the hardest working man in show business. Absolutely. Hey, Rick, thanks for tuning in. And Andrew and George, that's how I know those guys. I know all those New Jersey cats from Rick, and they're all great musicians. Oh, there's the word great again. They're all, I don't know what that means, but thanks for tuning in, you guys. Thanks for being here. I don't remember what I was saying, but those guys are really good friends. And ever since I've been playing music on the East Coast, I've got a chance to hang out with those dudes in New Jersey. It's pretty cool. Let's see, what do we do next? Well, we're gonna get deep into some pretty weird stuff, but let's see. Everything okay, Melanie? Melanie says it sounds okay. All right, great. There it is. I'll play you guys a song off of Wildwood Road. I'm systematically playing all of the songs off of there, but slowly, not all at once. This is one for Mary Scout. It's called Mary the Interstate. Mary the Interstate finally revealed my fate. I watched the sun turn red outside Virginia at 6 a.m. As I rode along, started to hum you this song, something new and different than the motel dirge inside my head. It goes like this: I love you, baby, and Jerissa, white as stars. Mary, the human race is flawed and filled with hate. We can't change their minds. We can only sing the songs we write. They go like this: I love you, baby, as you sleep beneath the stars. Don't forget now, I love you, baby, as you spin beneath the stars. We can only be just who we are. Mary the Interstate winds and makes its way, takes you far afield, where it's hard to know just what is real. When you're a long way, when you're a long way from home, when you're a long way. Don't forget now, I love you, baby, as you spin beneath the stars. We can only be just who we are. Well, I always tell myself I'm not going to yell, and I'm going to try to be quiet because Mary's sleeping in the room next door. But I got a little carried away there, so sorry about that. That's how it goes. What are you going to do? Let's see. Who's got what to say here? We've got some. Let's see. Watch and learn. That's right. He's... Nice chord changes on that one. Yeah, thank you, Rick. The new album's killer. Thank you, Rick. All the nice comments. Thank you. Means a lot coming from you, Rick Barth. It's very nice. Oh, there's Mom. Hello, Sherry. How are you? Thanks for tuning in. Very sweet. Thank you. Uh, she's sound asleep. Don't worry. Okay. Melanie said I didn't wake her up. We have a small house, and I'm in the room. My little office is right next to the room next door, and she's sleeping. But I didn't wake her up, I guess. I don't know. I always kind of arrange, typically when I play live, I don't even write a set list unless I'm with the band, and then we keep it, we have a set list. But when I play solo, I never even write anything down. I just start playing and see what happens. With these shows, I have been trying to have some type of theme because I'm weaving in some poems and some books and stories, and there is this, when I'm writing it all down, it does have some kind of continuity. But when I get here in front of the screen and I want to talk about it, I feel like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, and none of it really makes sense. It makes sense in my brain, but that's the only place where I make any sense. And when I try to explain it, it always just comes out jumbled up. But the thing I was thinking about with these songs, I started with two really old songs that mean a lot to me, that I feel like when I hear them, they're made just, like somebody speaking right at me. And, I hope when Mary hears her song, she just remembers that there's, that one is exactly for her, and somebody is speaking right at her. And, you know, um, when I read Marty's poems, I know I've reached out to him and we've connected again, but I hadn't spoken to him, since I was in high school. And but when I read his poems, it's like he's talking right to me. And so I think that's the that's the thread I'm searching for here with today's show. Is that there's kind of these lifelines in. There's the other word I say all the time, kinda, but there's lifelines in art and words, songs, and it's these things that have kept me going, and they've been lifelines. I've changed quite a bit since I was in high school. Over the last 12 or 13 years. Rain spills from the roof and down the window as if there is no air, only water, and soon we will all be submerged. The latch rattles in the wind. Once when I was 5, I slipped along the bottom of an underground pool that had been emptied out. I fell backwards, striking the back of my head. It was like walking along the surface of the moon, which I've always wanted to do. Or maybe meandering the dunes of Mars in defiance of the atmosphere. Who cares if it rains? Or if the wind becomes forceful enough to unwind me from my spot on the earth? I was never here anyway. I was always someplace else. And now that I have achieved greatness, I can spend all day staring into the expiring sun. The one thing I have never understood, and have relied upon entirely to keep me from turning into stone. And I couldn't stay in line, so I got out of line. Across the railroad tracks without ever looking back. Motel Row, one more time. There's a feeling that I get when I can't see what's coming next. Stepped up to the table and I placed a losing bet. Motel Row, I'm home again. Yes, there was a time when my life seemed to be just fine. Chaos and destruction, you were always on my mind. People, they seem to be so unkind. Motel Row, I'll be alright. And if you see me on the street, you wonder why I look so beat. I always start out winning, but I end up in defeat. Motel Row, you save my seat. Crawling around on the floor, always looking for a little more. I always wondered what was behind that door. The busted dreams of women and the solemn marks of men. Motel Row, you ain't my fucking friend. Motel Row, you win again. If you see me on the street and wonder why I look so beat, I always start out winning, but I end up in defeat. Motel Row, you save my seat. No, there's nothing that you can do, and oh, there's nothing you can say to change my mind or correct my wicked ways. Motel Row, that's where I'm gonna stay. Yes, there was a time when my life seemed to be just fine. Chaos and destruction, you were always on my mind. Yes, my life was fine. On the surface you could see it shine, but I was always looking for the glow of that neon sign. Motel Row, be alright. Motel Row, I'll be just fine. That song didn't make it onto Wildwood Road. What made it onto Wildwood Road is something we call the Ballad of Dope and Coke. It's actually the Ballad of Dope and Coke Part 3. What I just played for you, the poem at the beginning, is the actual poem where the song that made it onto the record came from is called The Ballad of Dope and Coke. And then that song is The Ballad of Dope and Coke Part 2. And then what fit was just a little piece of the music, a version of that music, and a verse of the poem made it onto the record. Let's see here. We've got... Oh, thanks for stopping in, Rick. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you. And from my wife. She doesn't have to say that, but she's very sweet like that. Joan is here. Joan, thanks for tuning in. It's always nice to have Joan, a new friend of ours. We're so happy. Thanks for tuning in, Joan. It's really nice. So I just played you that song. I used to spend a lot of time in motel rooms, and before the pandemic, when I was traveling around playing all the time, I spent a lot of time in motel rooms too. So I do have a penchant for motel rooms, but in my Fresno days and in my Sacramento days and in my San Diego days, I spent a lot of time in some pretty weird places. And so I have a new poem that I'm going to read for you now. It's not on my blog yet. I'll probably post it tomorrow or the next day. But I have a new poem I'd like to try out on you guys, and kind of chronicles. It's a bit of a motel poem, and let's give it a try, shall we? This is a new poem called "The Girl from Cassandra." It goes like this. I've been at the London motel for 3 days, in the corner room that looks out over Freeway 99, and I seesaw from window to peephole to see who is wandering by out on the street. An endless parade of motherfuckers, in the words of Michael Chabon, who was writing about Berkeley, which isn't far from here, but might as well be another planet. I am on the edge of something that is very similar to death, an in-between place, a limbo, a nefarious and nebulous little room above the earth and outside the hemisphere, in a way I am now going to try to describe to you, even though I know I should just let these things go. Do you have any poems that aren't about Fresno? My wife asks me right before reading a draft of another poem, not this one, in which I attempt to talk about something else, but halfway through I'm in the San Joaquin Valley, in the midst of another shitty summer, putting out cigarettes on my bedroom floor, and climbing in and out the window, and pushing my desk up against the door, and sitting amidst a flotsam and jetsam of lighters and singed hair in the back of my closet, adrift in a sea of dirty magazines, convinced someone is looking for me. My sister, my father, my roommate, the boss of some restaurant I'm about to be fired from. Nobody is looking for me anymore. What do you want? My eldest sister says when I call her on the phone. She knows what I'm after, and I know too. The shuck and jive of the addict, the lilt and hustle of the junkie, the compartmentalization of deceit, the insidious ability to stow away the light or the flame or the spark while speaking into the filthy telephone outside the Avalon Club, where just last night I was stopped by police and they sat me down on the curb, my head resting on the chrome bumper of a 1976 maroon El Camino, and the headlights of traffic, mystic semaphores, coming so close, then disappearing in red sequins. I used to think I had a choice. I distinctly remember staring at the door to room 27 on the second floor of Reps on Blackstone, and then briskly walking away, down the staircase, past the urine and empty packages of Newports and gum wrappers crumpled and forgotten after being discarded or inhaled or chewed up without a second thought. Because that is what's going on here at Reps, and I know it, and I know once I walk into room 27, everything changes, and the way out is different than the way in. There is no going back. I sit in my car shaking at 2 a.m. behind the wheel, staring into the abyss of silence and noise and black. I stand at the door and knock, and Joni, lit by the one lone lamp, appears luminous and wistful. She has been on her side of the door so long, she has forgotten that there is a reason, perhaps, to human suffering, that we are reaching for a truth within or without. But this is the place it begins, or for some ends, and she sees me fresh from the womb, a soldier with all armor intact, standing in the exact location she might have started, a girl from Aurora or Athens or Cassandra, facing down a door for the sake of art or humanity, and she enters and makes the claim to the Minotaur that she will stay only for so long to see this room, the one above the freeway, looking out at all the cars going in one direction or another, the endless parade of motherfuckers out there on earth below the world we now hover in, because we are none of us alone on either side of the real world, and the other and the other. We are travelers, one and all, on different paths, different roads, with one thing in mind, whether we know it or not: the chance to be free from death, the chance to be free. All right. I'm going to tell you something funny now that Melanie said to me after she read that. She said, well, at least this one's a little bit lighter, she said. I thought that was pretty great. Yes. The girl from Cassandra. Okay. I'm going to have a drink of water. So last week we had some trouble. Had some trouble with the video, and so we're trying to get it right. It's a ongoing learning curve here, but really appreciate you guys sticking around, and for those of you that tuned in last week and hung in there with me. And I think the thing I uttered about 2 hours ago, when the whole system crashed and we were trying to figure out how to hardwire the computer into the Ethernet, and then everything crashed, and I looked at Melanie and I said, who needs this shit? Who needs this grief? But apparently we do. So I'm glad it's kind of working tonight. This is a little song off my last record, High in a Neon Dive, and this song is called Life, Friends, is Boring. You want that? Yeah. I wake up and I flip through the dream songs, and Henry, he drinks from a bottle that he can't name and he can't swallow. I face up to a new tomorrow. And Henry, he crosses a bridge that he can't name and I can't follow, no, no. The women of phones, Mr. Bones. Women of phones, Mr. Bones. I wake up and I flip through the dream songs. Henry, he jumps from a bridge that he can't name and I can't follow, no, no. Women of phones, Mr. Bones. Women of phones, Mr. Bones. Hard on the land now is the sea. It empties the beds and eyes. You can try to slip your wrists, but your hands are tied. Your hands are tied. Your hands are tied. And life, friends, is boring. We must not say so. After all, the sky flashes and the great sea yearns. We ourselves, we flash and we yearn. And moreover, my mother told me as a boy, she said, ever to confess you're bored means you have no inner resources. Well, I confess now, ladies and gentlemen, that I have no inner resources. 'Cause I am heavy bored. People bore me. Literature bores me, especially great literature. And Henry bores me with his plights and gripes as bad as Achilles, who loves people in valiant art, which fucking bores me. Tranquil hills and gin look like a drag. There's Somehow a dog has taken himself and his tail considerably away to mountains or sea or sky, leaving behind me wag. So that song is based on Dream Song number 14, which I said there at the end, written by the masterful John Berryman. John Berryman, who wrote, of course, the Dream Songs. And that's Dream Song number 14, which starts with "Life, friends, is boring." I'm going to, let's see, it looks like we've got some new additions to the show. I'm just going to briefly say hello, if I may. It looks like my friend Kevin Parson is with us. Awesome as always. That's really nice. Kevin is an amazing musician himself. Check him out on Instagram. He's makes these great videos and wonderful musician, creator. Thanks, Kevin. Long time no see. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. Looks like one lone lamp. I know, and I botched that line too, Soup. That was the best part of the poem, and I botched it. Thank you for still noticing. That's my favorite line too. And then that's my sister, my eldest sister, who shows up in the poem I just read. She's the one that says, "What do you want?" That's my oldest sister, Francine, who's maybe the kindest person to walk the earth. I love you, Francine. Oh, Franny. Okay, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to, let's see. Well, we're coming towards the end, and I thought I would do another poem and then maybe one more song. So the poem I want to read is written by a guy named Wendell Berry. If anybody's ever read Wendell Berry, you know I am about to read Wendell Berry. This is maybe top 5 poems for me. I did a stint when I was younger. I did a stint in the church where I was trying to get it together, and as wayward souls do, they find themselves in a church pew at some point. And I think the church knows they're waiting for you. And I ended up there when I was living in Fresno, and I tried to find God and I tried to find Jesus, and didn't really work out for me. But the great thing I discovered in my time as trying to be a Christian, or trying to be I thought I wanted to be a minister at some point, but the person I discovered was Wendell Berry, and he's been one of my favorites ever since. And this book here is called Farming, a Handbook. It's poems by Wendell Berry. Wendell Berry does it all. He writes amazing essays, and he writes poems and stories and novels, and he's a farmer. He lives in Kentucky, and he's a teacher, and all around amazing artist and human. But I'm going to read you this poem here, which is one of the most important poems for me, because I've used it, and I've talked about this before. I've used this poem in my own life, in as far as like shaping my whatever life philosophy I've managed to salvage or scrape together. This is one of the most important little group of words for me in navigating this insane place, Earth. He has a group of poems. He has a character, Wendell Berry does, called the Mad Farmer. And the Mad Farmer shows up in a lot of these poems. And this one is, in my opinion, the best one. It's called The Contrariness of the Mad Farmer. It goes like this. I am done with apologies. If contrariness is my inheritance and destiny, so be it. If it is my mission to go in at exits and come out at entrances, so be it. I have planted by the stars in defiance of the experts, and tilled somewhat by incantation and by singing, and reaped, as I knew, by luck and heaven's favor, in spite of the best advice. If I have been caught so often laughing at funerals, that was because I knew the dead were already slipping away, preparing a comeback, and can I help it? And if at weddings I have gritted and gnashed my teeth, it was because I knew where the bridegroom had sunk his manhood, and knew it would not be resurrected by a piece of cake. Dance, they told me, and I stood still. And while they stood quiet in line at the gate of the kingdom, I danced. Pray, they said, and I laughed, covering myself in the earth's brightnesses, and then stole off gray into the midst of a revel and prayed like an orphan. When they said, I know that my Redeemer liveth, I told them, he's dead. And when they told me God is dead, I answered, he goes fishing every day in the Kentucky River. I see him often. When they asked me would I like to contribute, I said no. And when they had collected more than they needed, I gave them as much as I had. When they asked me to join them, I wouldn't, and then went off by myself and did more than they would have asked. Well then, they said, go and organize the International Brotherhood of Contraries. And I said, did you finish killing everybody who was against peace? So be it. Going against men, I have heard at times a deep harmony thrumming in the mixture. And when they ask me what, I say I don't know. It is not the only or the easiest way to come to the truth. It is one way. Well, there you have it. I don't know what else to say about that. That's a pretty good poem, though. I'm going to finish with this particular poem or song. This is a song. I played a couple songs at the top. I played the Moonshiner, and I played Bob Dylan's My Back Pages. Hold on, what does Joan have to say? I gotta know. I like the art wall, especially the yellow piece under the duck. Well, those are all, other than the duck, are Melanie Delgado pieces, Joan. Thank you for noticing. Yes, I like them too. This is a Melanie Delgado. And I don't know the name of that one. Melanie, do you? And this one was painted by Melanie also for me. And then she tried to sell it. But as the fates would have it, it returned to my office. Thanks for noticing, Joan. Yes, I like those too. He was a feisty one. Yes, he is a feisty one. Is he still around? I feel like he's still around. He's feisty, though, for sure. Oh, at the top of the hour, I played My Back Pages, and I played Moonshiner, and I read some Wendell Berry, and I read Marty Williams, and read some John Berryman. Now, I'm not trying to put myself in the same place as those gentlemen, but this song I'm going to play now is not on any record anywhere, and it's the fastest song I ever wrote. And like I said a few minutes ago, I don't really believe in much, so there's some words in here that I don't know where they came from. I don't know where this song came from, but I read a book. Where is that book? This one. My sister Franny just got me a new copy, but I read this book once, maybe twice. It's called Walking with the Wind. It's John Lewis's book. It's his experience in the civil rights movement, and that's a really great book. And years ago, the first time I got done reading that book, I sat down and wrote this song, and it came out in about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. It's the fastest song I ever wrote. So it was a gift. So I'm going to end with it. This is a little song called Feed the Saints. And I shall not be moved from this here counter. I will not be told that I can't stay. I will not be made to sit in silence. I am not afraid. I shall not be burned with sticks of fire. I know why the hooded hide their face, and even though they hang I'm my father, I refuse to hate. The blood of God comes pouring down to heal the faithful and to feed the saints. Grace the graceless, and I shall not be moved from this place. I shall not be made to work for hours. I will not be pulled apart that way. I will not earn cancer for your dollars, 'cause I am not a slave. I shall not be moved from love's table, even though you take away my plate. I will eat the bread of life, my brother, even though you hate. The blood of God comes pouring down and feed the saints, to grace the graceless, and I shall not be moved from this place, and I shall not be moved from this place, and I shall not be moved from this fucking place. All right. Wow. Well, we did it again. Episode 3 in the books. I'm so grateful to those of you that show up and hang out with me and send little comments. Here's the stalwart, John Light. Love you, John Light, very much. So, what a great friend, man. There's the word great, but there's no other way to describe the wonderful John Light, the lovely John Light. Thanks for tuning in. Look here. Welter. These are my friends. If it wasn't for these guys, thank you. If it wasn't for the guys from Welter, I wouldn't be doing this. They had me on their show, and they've kind of shown me how to do this. I try not to call them with too many questions, but they're the sweetest. These guys are in Australia. They're one of the best bands I've ever heard, and they're the sweetest humans you'd ever want to meet. And they're going to be my first guests on MXDTV. We might have them on next week if we can get it together. So maybe next week, maybe the week after that, but we're going to have them on. Thank you guys for tuning in. Looks like Eric Squindo, my main man, Eric Squindo. Love you, Eric. Thank you. And the wonderful Andrew George, one of the amazing drummer, Andrew George, and guitar player. And of course, my savior, Russell Little. The wonderful Russell Little. Thank you, Joan. Let's see. Love that one. That's my wife. She said she was going to go to sleep, but look at, she's still with us. That's Dave. All right, Dave. So I hope you're feeling okay, Dave, and maybe we can get it together for next week, my friend. If not, the week after that. All right. Love everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much for making this happen. And we'll see you next Thursday, maybe with a guest. If not, it'll just be little old me again, droning on and on. All right. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in. Love you. All right. Take care. And broadcast. See ya.